Good evening, everybody, and thank you for your patience. I do apologize for starting a little bit late, but welcome to your community yoga session for tonight. This is every Wednesday, 7 p.m. here at the studio, except next week because I will be out, but I'll be back after that, okay? This is one of our beginner-friendly offerings to our practitioners here. So if you have friends who needs this, please send them our way. Okay? And again, it's a free community class. I'm going to keep it that way so that we can share the yoga practice with other people. So this session will keep it nice and simple, allowing ourselves to come into some stretches that will help relieve the body, especially if you had a long day filled with stress. We have some med students here who I know are facing a lot of challenges in school. Someone who just came from a long trip, someone who experienced a lot of issues from the past rains and typhoons that we've been experiencing. So everyone has their own source of stress. The thing is with stress, it actually creates a lot of tension in our body. And when that happens, it's when disease and illness begins. So a lot of the sickness that we feel, it's because of stress, right? So even the cardiovascular issues, even the mental disorder, anxiety, depression, it's all stress bound. So this is our way of lessening that even for just a little bit, okay? So we're gonna start off with a short centering or meditation. So I'm gonna invite you to cross your legs in front of each other. Rest your hands on top of your knees. If at any point in this meditation practice you feel sore, discomfort, you can change the positioning of your legs. You can switch out which leg is crossed, which leg is straight. I want you to find comfort in your space. Fidget around a couple of times, move around. Allow it to be instinctive. So if your body is telling you to move your legs, if your body is telling you to move your arms, if your body is telling you to rock your head a couple of times left and right, then please let them happen. And when you are ready, little by little, begin to find stillness in this space. Begin to find calmness on your mat. When we opened the Blue House, I envisioned it to be a place where you can go whenever you're feeling a little bit low on energy, whenever your mood is a little bit down, or when you're feeling like you need to connect with like-minded people. So before we begin the physicality of our practice, I invite you to arrive in this space. Know that here you are safe. Know that you are here at home. And as you find more comfort, I invite you to connect with your breaths. Notice how your inhalations are coming into your bodies. Notice how your exhalations are moving out. Little by little, begin to lengthen and deepen your breaths. Maximize how much air you can bring in, how much stale air you can purge out as well. We'll be here for a couple minutes, seated in stillness. So again, if there's anything that you need to fix, if there's anything that your body would like to do, if your mind would like to think of something else, let them happen. Know that distractions are normal. But rather than letting yourselves get caught up by that distraction, keep coming back to the stillness that we have found instead. Long, deep breaths in. And long, deep breaths out. Keeping your eyes closed for now, just begin to gather your prayer hands in front of your chest. One of the reasons why I personally like doing a yoga practice is because of its intention. Each time that we are on our mat, we offer off our practice to something or someone that we hold close to our hearts. And if you can't think of anything right away, you can dedicate your practice to yourself. Not being selfish, but instead being accepting that you need this for today. Now, with your intention in mind, begin to blink your eyes open. Extend your legs in front of you. And you're going to give your legs a couple of shakes, a couple of sways. You can place your hands behind you so that you can begin to drop your knees just side to side with some windshield wipers. Bend and extend the legs so that you can let the legs recover. Okay? So I'm going to invite you to stagger yourselves. Some of you move forward, some of you move back. Just make sure that you have space to reach out to your sides. And when you're ready, release your arms at a low V. Cross your legs and sit up nice and tall. Inhale your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, let your right arm dangle down. And your left hand catches the side of your head. And you tip over to the left, feeling that stretch on the right side of your neck. Now, keeping your head tilted to this side, you're just going to begin to let your chin point a little bit upwards and see how this feels on the side of your neck. And then allow your chin to point a little bit more downwards And notice how that changes the stretch on your neck. Slowly, please come back to the center. Extend your arms up, and let's do that on the other side. So exhale, left hand dangles down. Catch the side of your head with your right hand and begin to tip over to the side. And you're just gonna slightly let your chin point a little bit more upwards and notice the difference. Allow your chin to point a little bit downwards and notice the difference. And then slowly rise back up to the center. Reach your arms all the way up. Inhale. Exhale. Transition to a tabletop pose. Come down onto your hands and your knees. And we're going to set up for your child's pose. So you're going to open your knees as wide as your mat. Let your big toes touch. Sit on your heels. Walk your hands forwards and melt your chest, forehead down to the floor. Allow yourselves to relax into your child's pose. This is one of the best stress-relieving postures out there. So I invite you to notice the spaces that you are creating on your shoulders, your neck, your back, your hips. Breathe as much as you can into those spaces that you are creating. Long, deep breaths in and long, deep breaths out. Chip, see if you can open your knees wider. Yung knees, yes, and then lean back. Yes, and then relax, relax, relax. One more breath here, please, in your child's pose. Inhale and exhale. Slowly roll yourselves forwards into a tabletop position. Come up onto your hands and your knees. And just go ahead and begin to line up your hands under your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And let's warm up with a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So on an in-breath, let your belly drop down. Tilt your chin, tailbone to the sky. Exhale, push away from the floor. Round your back and look down to your legs. We go again, please. Inhale, drop the belly down. Tilt your chin, tailbone to the sky. Exhale, push away from the floor. Hollow out your belly. 3 more rounds. Inhale, arch your spine. Gaze up to the sky. Exhale, push away from the floor, look down to your legs. Inhale, arch the back, look up. You can move your hands a little bit backwards. Yes. Exhale, push and round your spine. One last, please. Inhale, arch the back, gaze up to the sky. Exhale, push away from the floor and hollow out your belly. Now neutralize your spine, neither arching nor rounding your back. And you're going to prepare for a thread the needle pose. On an in-breath, you're going to open your right arm out to the side and up to the sky. Exhale, you're going to go all the way under the left. And you're bringing your right shoulder and the side of your head down to the ground. Relax your right shoulder and the side of your face down to the floor. Now listen carefully. You can keep your left hand beside your face, or you can walk that left hand to the front end of your mat, or you can wrap your left arm around your back body and see how that feels. Breathe. Notice how it feels when you lean your left rib cage back just a little bit more into this pose. Long, deep breaths in and long, deep breaths out. Inhale here, please. As you exhale, lower that left hand back down to the ground. Unthread your right arm and open your right arm out to the side. Inhale. Exhale, release that hand back down to the floor. Other side, please. Left arm reaches out and up. Inhale. Exhale, thread under the right. You're bringing your left shoulder and the side of your face down to the ground. Now I invite you to do the same variation that you did on the first side. Some of you kept the hand down, some of you reached the arm forwards, some of you wrapped that arm around your back. Wherever your body brought you, breathe. With each breath in, you breathe in space. And with each breath out, you go just a little bit more deeper into this pose. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Release that right hand beside your face. Unthread your left arm and then open out again to the side and up. Inhale. Go ahead. Exhale, come back down to tabletop position, hands and knees down to the ground. Look down at your hands. Spread your fingers nice and wide like you want to grip the floor tightly with your finger pads. Look down towards your feet and begin to curl your toes, lifting your hips all the way up to the sky, forming an inverted V position with your body. I invite you to make this an active downward facing dog. So maybe pedal out your knees, sway your hips, fidget around as much as you need in that inverted V position. Now for a breath, please stabilize your down dog. Just allow yourselves to push with your hands, lean with your chest, soften with the heels. Inhale. Exhale, walk your feet to the front. Take as many steps as you need until you arrive at the front end of your mat. From there, micro bend your knees, grab a hold of your elbows, and allow your body to sway side to side, left and right, hanging loose here so that you can free up space on your back body, from your hamstrings to your hips, to your shoulders and your neck. Now dangle down with your arms, lots of popping actions. You're gonna slowly roll up bone by bone. Good morning to your muscles. Reach your arms up to the sky, inhale. Exhale, gather your prayer hands towards your hearts. So since we don't have that much space, you can reach your arms forwards and up. Inhale. Exhale, gather your prayer hands once again in front of your chest. One more time, please. Inhale, forwards and up. And then exhale, gather your prayer hands towards your heart. Hands onto your waist. Identify your legs because your right foot is going to step forwards and your left foot is going to step back into your crescent lunge. Have your front knee bent and your back heel lifted up high. You can use the cabinetita if ever you need. And then roll your shoulders back, allowing yourselves to be upright with your spine. When you're ready, you're going to reach your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, grab a hold of your left wrist. Pull up and just take a moment to lengthen. Inhale here. Exhale, tip over to the right. You don't have to go down so much for you to feel that stretch on your left side body. Lengthening from your left hip flexors all the way to your sides, all the way to your arms. You give me a giant big breath here. Inhale. And then exhale, come back to the center. And you lower your arms down to the floor. You release your hands down to the ground. Once you touch down with your hands, please gently lower that left knee to the floor. Release your left knee to the ground. You're gonna flatten that left arm and you're gonna begin to sweep your right arm up to the sky for a spinal twist. You got it. Once you have that right arm up, I want you to think like we're doing a rock and roll motion with your arm. So you're gonna let that right arm roll forwards, down, back, and then up. Rock forwards, down, back, and up. And you do this a couple more times on your own. The intention is to mobilize your shoulders. I want you to recognize that not everybody can do this. So notice how much mobility you have. Recognize if there's pain at some angles. And with acceptance, you reach your right arm up. You open out into your twist. Take a big breath in, leaning your right rib cage back. It's okay. Exhale, release your hand down to the floor. Release yourselves down to the ground. Tabletop position once again. So slide that right knee back. Line up your joints once again with your hands under your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. We're going to do a second round of your cat and cow, but we're going to modify a bit here. So you're going to lean your bum back into your modified child's, and you're going to walk your hands a few inches forwards. Like a slithering motion, you let your heart slide forwards and then up. Inhale into your cow stretch, and then exhale, push and lean back into your cat stretch. We go again. Inhale, slither yourselves forwards and up, arch the spine, and then exhale, push and round back into that modified child's pose. 3 more times. Inhale, exaggerate that movement and really feel the spaces you're creating. And then exhale, push and round as much as you can with your back body. Again, please, inhale, slither yourselves forwards and then up. And then exhale, push and round, lean back. One last, at your own pace, long, deep breath in. And long, deep breath out. We will all meet eventually in that modified child's pose. Bum to your heels, melt chest, forehead to the ground. Alrighty. Begin to roll yourselves up to tabletop position once again. And we're going to transition into that down dog. So I want you to feel that grip with your hands. Tuck your toes and lift your knees, lift your hips up into that inverted V position, creating that inverted V shape with your body. Fidget around if there's any lingering movements that your body has to do. Pedal out your knees, sway your hips, bend and extend the legs. And when you're ready, just go ahead and stabilize in the pose. Big breath in. Just try to flatten your wrist, Christine, para safer for the fingers. No worries. And exhale. Walk your feet all the way forwards. And this time, we're going to take a modified forward fold. So again, bend your knees so that you can dive down a little bit more as you grab onto your elbows, your calves, and you're going to pull yourself as close as possible towards your legs. And notice how this feels once again for the backs of your thighs. Notice how this feels for the back of your neck. As you surrender into that fold, take a big breath in and a big breath out. Dangle your arms down, please. And with the soft knees, roll up, bone by bone. Sweeping your arms forwards and up. Inhale. Exhale, gather, pray your hands to your hearts. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, feel positivities as you reach up. Exhale, gather them down to your heart center. 1 last. Inhale, gather the good vibes. And exhale, bring them down to your hearts. Hands onto your waist, please. We're gonna do the other side. So this time, left foot steps forwards and right leg steps back. And take your time to find that stance. Front knee on top of your ankle, back heel high, upright with your spine belly in. Reach your arms up on an in-breath. Exhale, grab a hold of your right wrist. Pull it up for a bit. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, just a mini side stretch. So you don't have to lean super far to the side because you'll feel it right away. The moment that you feel wobbly means you went too far, so pull back just a little bit, no problem. Now take a big breath in here. Exhale, rise back up to the center and lower your hands all the way down to the floor. Release your right knee down to the mat. And you're gonna flatten that right hand for your twist. Reach your left arm up to the sky. Nice. Rock and roll. You're gonna sweep that left arm forwards, down, back, and then up. 1 more with me. You go forwards, down, back, and up. It's okay if you're going through a different rotation with your arm. Again, the intention is to just mobilize that shoulder. It's a simple thing that you can do at home, but when you're connecting with your breath, notice how much more spaces you can create for today. Now on the last one, you hold at the top. You take a big breath in that spinal twist. Inhale. Exhale, lower that hand down to the floor. Slide that knee back into your tabletop position. Hands and knees down on the mat. All right, I'm gonna give you the option now. So option 1, regular cat and cow, what we did at the start. Option 2, modified cat and cow, wherein you add that child's pose, that slithering action with your spine, and that rolling back motion with your back body. And you do this a couple more times on your own. This is a good way to relieve yourselves of stress. Whenever you're feeling a lot of your stress on your back, do this a couple of times, and I promise you'll feel a little bit better, even for just a couple of repetitions. And do it nice and slow. So if you feel like you're breathing, inhale, exhale, try to go for a long inhale and long exhale so that your body can really get deep into those shapes and spaces. Alrighty. Stabilize at the center. And we're gonna come into our Japanese seat. So option 1, knees together, feet together, sit on your heels. Option 2, sit on top of your block, wedge that block underneath your bum. Option 3, easy seated pose, just crossing your legs in front of each other. And notice how this feels. All right. So wherever your body brought you, we're gonna do a modification of that cat and cow again. So you're gonna reach your arms up to the sky, interlace your fingers, and flip your palms to face up to the ceiling. On an in-breath, let your shoulders shrug back and let your chest push forwards. And then exhale, push with your hands, round your spine, and look down towards your belly. One more with me, please. Inhale, reach your arms up, lean your shoulders back, arch the spine. Exhale, push forwards and round the back. You do this a couple more times on your own. This is another beautiful modification of your cat and cow. Again, this is a wonderful posture to do if you're feeling lots of tension on your back. As humans, we hold up a lot of our stress in our spine muscles. So whenever we're feeling tense, we usually rub the shoulders, the low back. So notice where you're feeling it the most. You can even linger. If there's an angle that you like, you can stay there for a bit and really breathe into that space. Finish off your last round. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. On an in-breath, reach your arms all the way up. And then exhale at your own pace. You're in a transition to your downward facing dog one last time. Find that inverted V position with your body. We're not staying that long, but I want you to solidify your down dog. Grip the floor, lean back with your chest. Inhale and exhale. Roll yourselves forwards into plank. Take a big breath in. Flatten your wrists, Rika. Yes. And then exhale, bend your elbows. Come all the way down to the ground. Now, once you connect to the mat, have your hands alongside your chest. And you're going to begin to peel your heart away from the mat in your baby cobra. Inhale here. Exhale, go back down to the ground. 2 more times, please. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, release yourselves back down to the floor. 1 more. Inhale, baby cobra. And exhale, lower yourselves down to the ground. You might need to scoot yourselves a little bit back. We're setting up for your Sphinx pose. So you line up your elbows underneath your shoulders, forearms parallel to the floor, shoulders rolling back with your chest lifted. Good. Option 1, stay in Sphinx pose. Option 2, push with your hands and begin to lift your elbows away from the ground in your seal pose. Yes, I know. You can stay here or play around with the position of your hands. So if you feel like it's too much, you can bring yourselves back down to your elbows. If you want to amplify the stretch, you can move your hands closer to your body. I personally like letting my wrist turn out, but if there's turn in rather, but if there's pain, you can skip this modification. Just like a seal. So shrug your shoulders back, widen to your chest, breathe into your heart. Inhale. Exhale slowly, lower back down to the ground. Release yourselves down to the floor. Option 1, you let your left forearm turn in with your head up or your head down against your arm. We're going to come into a quad stretch, so you bend your right knee. It's usually where a lot of people get mad at me. Grab a hold of that right foot with your right hand. And you squeeze that heel towards your bum. Just enough, okay? You don't have to pull so much. Good. Yes, you can keep your head down so that I don't see your angry faces. You can switch arms, Christine. So left arm down and then use your right hand to grip that foot. Right foot. Yes, so that you can pull more. No worries. Don't have to be sorry. You're welcome. Take a big breath in here with love and care. And then exhale, let it go. God blessed us with two sides. You're gonna bring your right forearm in. Again, you can keep your head up if that feels better for your spine, or head down. At this time, you're gonna bend your left knee, more than enough, or grab a hold of that foot and then squeeze your heel towards your bum. Now, the great thing about this stretch, you don't have to pull so much for you to feel it. But if your body is telling you just a little bit more, then do it in increments. So just little by little pull in and see how that feels for the fronts of your thighs. I like complementing this stretch with the spinal mobility of your spine, because if you're tight with your low back, you usually move on to the body part that you can move on to, and it's your hips. So if you're feeling a lot of your tightness here as well, it's already connected. One more. Inhale. Smile. And exhale, let it go. Giggle, smile. Stack your forearms and rest your head. And just take a moment to contemplate life. Why am I here? But rather than leaning into that feeling, instead let yourselves embrace, oh, I'm doing this for my well-being. I'm doing this for to feel good in my body. Painful for now, but in the long run, it will pay off. Take one more breath, please. Inhale. And exhale. Good news. You're going to flip over and lie down on your back. Flip over and lie down on your back. Alrighty. Look around you. There should be a block nearby. Okay. And we're going to set up for your bridge pose. So find your block. You're going to bend your knees. And you're going to slide that block underneath your sacrum, which is that bony part just above your bum. Slide that block on your sacrum, that bony part just above your bum. The great thing about these blocks, you have 3 orientation. You have lowest, mid, and highest orientation. So you can switch out to the level that you would like to take. Higher doesn't mean better, it's just different options, okay? Now, once you've found the orientation of your block, you can choose to have your knees bent as is, or straighten your legs down to the floor, or take butterfly legs, wherein you have your feet together and your knees falling out to the side like a diamond with your legs. Now, for your arms, you can keep your arms by your sides. You can keep your hands on your belly. Or you can reach your arms overhead. Good? And don't hesitate to switch things around if something doesn't feel right. If okay for your shoulders, Richard, you can stretch. You have space naman. Kathy, I'm just gonna close the lights. Sorry. So let this pose be a personal experience. The options, the modifications that I gave are optional. So again, don't let yourselves settle in to a position that you are not enjoying. I invite you instead to explore and let your body come to terms with a pose that you can enjoy. This is a culmination of all the stress-relieving poses that we did for today. It's a back bend for your spine, and at the same time, that stretch for the fronts of your thighs. but in a more restorative manner. So lessen the squeezing, lessen the engaging, and allow yourselves to instead melt into the space, relax into the pose. Notice as well how you're breathing in this, observing the subtle rising and falling of your chest and your belly with each breath that you take. Long, deep breaths in. And long, deep breaths out. One big breath, please. Inhale and exhale. If you are in butterfly, please guide your knees together. If you have your legs straight, please bend your knees. Arms by your sides. And you're gonna use the arms to push and lift the hips up. And set the blocks to the side. A little bit more overhead so that it doesn't come into your way. And then gently lower your bum down to the ground. And you might be feeling a tingling sensation on your low back. So take a moment to observe that, absorb that. Inhale. And exhale. Hug your right knee to your chest. And you can keep your left knee bent or straight to the floor, whatever feels better for your hips. We're going to take a spinal twist. So you're going to guide that knee down to the left. And since we're relatively close to each other, you're going to take cactus arms with your right arm, like you're surrendering into that pose. Look over your right shoulder. Feel heavy. Relax. Breathe. Inhale, please. Exhale, come back to the center. And we're going to switch legs. So left knee in. And you're going to guide that knee down to your right. Left arm, cactus. And you look over your left shoulder. And just let yourselves again feel heavy. Relaxing into the shape, relaxing into the form, relaxing into this pose. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to the center. Hug both knees into your chest this time. And I'm going to invite you to curl yourselves into a tiny ball, pressing your forehead to your knees, curling your fingers and your toes, making a funny face. Inhale. Exhale, gently lower everything down to the ground. Release your arms and your legs down to the mat. Maybe shimmy out your shoulders and your hips. Move your head a couple of times so that you get comfortable on your mat. And return to a state of peace and calmness for tonight. If there's any other adjustments you would like to do, now would be the best time to do them. Maybe cover off your eyes. If you would like to play around with that block for your Shavasana today, you can do so as well. And when you're ready, surrender into this pose. Melt into this shape. Relax on your mat. Start to deepen your breaths. Taking long, deep breaths in and long, deep breaths out. Long, deep breaths in and long, deep breaths out. Once you feel like you're ready to move, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll your wrists, roll your ankles, and gently move your head side to side. Take a morning stretch. Reach your arms over your head. Inhale. Exhale into a fetal pose. Roll over to your right. Lie down on your right side body. And from there, at your own pace, at your own time, I'm going to invite you to come to sit facing the front mirrors. And as you arrive there, just rest your hands on top of your knees. Keep the eyes closed as we let ourselves embrace this sense of calmness that we have found. As I mentioned at the start of our session, stress is one of the causes, one of the reasons why we experience disease and illness. So let's take a moment to appreciate this activity, this yoga practice that we have done to help us relieve some of that stress that we've been holding on to. And with this opportunity to breathe and move, we gather our prayer hands in front of our chests and we bow down in gratitude. Enjoy the rest of your night. Namaste. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, let me know